So, we are back for Jeddah after having a strong finish in Bahrain. Now, all we could hope is that we could replicate that result because we are a new team. I don't expect us to go any higher than that, but since it's Jeddah, it's one of our favorite tracks, so hopefully our setups will do well and that any of our upgrades could at least help us eke out a few more of time, a bit more pace heading into the Grand Prix. So this is our first run of Q1 and we are on a flyer of a lap because what the time for the sector that we need to beat is 106 and we beat that by 1.6 seconds. Let's go. Now as we're in the last DRS straight before we head to the start finish straight, we're gonna go turn in a bit inward in turn 27 and we have a good exit right there. We're gonna bank ourselves on the left, lower our distance to the start finish line, and we get third. We were only 300s from there. Oh my god. We head back to the garage. We're not gonna go out anymore because we are happy with that result. And we reached P4 in this whole in Q1, which is definitely not bad in my opinion. Definitely not bad. But we'll see what we can do in Q2. We are back in Q2, and on our first lap out, we are doing another flyer. We went faster than Alonso by a bit over a second, and that's for 12. So we're having a flyer of a lap here as we head into turn 7. We're going straight for the finish line to see where we land in Q2 because we just need to be in the top 10, and we do. We get into Q2. We get into P2 actually. That is a good result. Now we're just gonna head back to the garage because there's really nothing else we can do except sit there. Not unless we get pushed down by the rest of the top 8, but we'll see at the end of Q2. And this is not bad. We got to P4. We made it to Q3. I will take it. Like literally only the Ferraris and the Red Bulls. That is not a bad outing right there. But let's see what happens when we head into Q3. Now for Q3, we are also on an absolute flyer. We're gonna kind of tuck it here on the left, kind of get to the finish line faster. It's a P7. Okay. Oh, that's not gonna be enough. We've already slowed down there when I even took a look at the clock. So that's where the cookie crumbles for our qualifying session. But hey, we gave it our best, and I feel like this is more of a realistic approach to what we've seen so far. And we finished at P7, which is definitely not bad, if you ask me. We literally ahead of Alfa Romeo and the 2 Alpines. We're just behind the top of the pack, so we should be fine, right? We'll just do one of those turn 1 dives that we've been doing. Now we can go look ahead for the race, and I can't wait till we start. And here we go. 5 lights. And the lights are out. We have somewhat of a decent start. Wasn't the fastest start we've seen, but we're gonna go straight for the outside in turn 1 and on the cut. What's that? Perez in turn 2 as we have a slow exit into that turn. Just making sure we didn't hit Perez on our way out. But since we pushed Perez off a bit, Hamilton was able to jump him as well. And Perez loses 2 positions at the first 2 turns of the first lap. Jeez, we put the move. We always tend to put the move on the first turn of the race. After the start, it always seems to work, but not always. As I guess you guys would remember in our last episode of our MyTeam series, where we kind of had the slowest exit, and we lost potentially 2 positions after the first turn because of our slow exits. But here, it was a bit more okay, a bit more narrower turn 1 and 2, so they really couldn't do much about that. But so far, we have had a clean-ish start to the Grand Prix, and we are sitting in 3rd position. Like, look, I will take a 3rd, or a podium position basically at any point of the series, because we have no business being up this high in the Grand Prix or in any race basically. But we are somewhat pulling a bit away from Lewis Hamilton. Oh, and Lewis Hamilton got overtaken by Perez. Let's actually go check out the rest of the field. So we kind of have like Lewis Hamilton and Perez kind of duking it out at the first 2 turns, but we kind of missed it since we were riding on board on our car. But Perez is dropping down the field. Did he suffer any damage? I don't think, because he would have pitted by the start of the second lap, but Perez is falling behind. I mean, I don't see any damage on his car at all. Like, on his the front wings looks fine. Is it because he probably has, like, because we are running simulation damage, they might have, maybe just tapped the front wing a bit too much to where, we don't see it like physically, but it's, simulation damage. Just the slightest tap on the front wing could cause some front wing issues, and that would lead the AI, heck, even the player, to pit. But that was a close overtake by Leclerc on Hamilton. But we are on the 3rd lap, which means DRS will be on, and we'll have like DRS after turn 18, and then after turn 24 heading into turn 25, and then the start finish straight after turn 27. So there are a lot of overtaking opportunities here. Well, or at least giving yourself like 2 DRS zones to kind of get yourself close, and then maybe overtake on the last DRS straight, which is by the start finish straight. But we've seen drivers overtake on the second DRS area that we have. But this fight between Hamilton, Leclerc is kind of giving us a lot of breathing space, because we are actually somewhat catching on to Sainz now as we head into turns 22, 23, 24. Just this circuit has a bunch of like turns in it, but this is like them fighting. Lewis, Leclerc, Perez, they're fighting for 4th position, is allowing us to like have a big gap behind us. So, which kind of allows us to kind of focus on our driving and focus on maybe overtaking Sainz. Like, we have no business here, but from the previous season, last year's game, we overtake Sainz on turn 1, taking the inside line, and Sainz kind of having to back off there. Let's go. We are up to 2nd place. But anyways, I was saying, we have had good results in Jeddah on the previous game. So we are bringing that experience. The setups might be different, but we kind of have been seeing how setups kind of work a bit. And we're bringing that experience, those setups, to this track, and this is gonna be an outlier of a Grand Prix. I could already probably see it from here. This is going to be an outlier of a Grand Prix for us, because we have no business being being in the top 6, top 7 even. But us as a driver, kind of personally, me as a driver actually personally like Jeddah, and it just shows on how like we're able to manage to get to P2. I guess it also helps that we are running softs while Sainz is running medium, so we may have an advantage right there while we look at the fight between Hamilton and Charles Leclerc into turn 27. Leclerc has a decent amount of lead right there, but with the DRS on one of the longer DRS straights on this track, Lewis might have a chance, but he may oh, we have Russell and Perez duking it out the first 2 turns. Russell going for the inside in turn 1 and then the switch back for turn 2, but sadly Perez had a better exit and was able to still keep his lead right there. But geez, you can literally see, look at this midfield team right behind Tsunoda. Yeah, basically Ocon, Magnussen, Gasly, the 2 Aston Martins. They're just all like kind of bunched up, duking it out. Oh no! What happened to Verstappen? Verstappen had to pit. Why? I have no clue. And that leaves us to lead the Grand Prix at lap 5. Okay, this is going way too well. You know, I think the racing gods have looked out. Oh, will Esteban Ocon overtake heading into turn 22? No, he doesn't. He stays behind Tsunoda, which is smart, because I would save that DRS for after turn 25 and then overtake Yuki Tsunoda. But there's just a DRS train forming behind them, as Tsunoda still stays behind Gasly, which is surprising to me. Not unless Gasly has a bigger straight. Oh, wait, did they damage? No, I think this must be a scheduled pit stop. This has to be a scheduled pit stop right here, because we see ourselves kind of pitting as well, coming out with the hearts right in front of Verstappen. We effectively should remain P1. Oh, Verstappen trying to squeeze himself on the outside, and oh, that was aggressive. But hey, it's Verstappen. We've seen worse from Verstappen. But I'm just happy that we didn't ruin our front wing, and that Verstappen probably didn't ruin the rest of his race as well, trying to squeeze himself outside. Hey, we effectively have P1 right here. Because we came out right in front of Verstappen, and Verstappen having to pit early because of maybe a front wing damage. And because he fell down so far, it must be a front wing damage. And then we have everyone else that's in front of us are either started on softs, on mediums, then have to go on softs. So the top 5 right now has to pit, which leave us kind of P1, not unless, Verstappen's going to overtake us here with his DRS open. And we didn't fight him. He has a faster car, that's for sure, with the Red Bull. So we're just going to tuck in right behind him, go, use the DRS in the start-finish straight, maybe do another cheeky dive on turns 1, and we beat him out on all-out drag race. We take the inside, I gotta close the door on him on turn 2. Oh, and we have a good exit heading into turn 3 and 4. Oh my, that was That was some cheeky racing, shutting the door on him in turn 2. So he had to stop losing all momentum, which made him slow. And we basically carved out almost a 1 second lead. I mean, it's 8/10 of a second, but let's round up to 1 second. How about that? Yeah, this is proving to be a really good race for us. This is definitely going to be an outlier because I doubt that we do better after I doubt we'd have a better result than this for the rest of the season. But yes, we have pulled out from Verstappen. Maybe, I don't know, AI kind of like, oh shit kind of moment. There's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I kind of confidence hit maybe. So, plus we also have the newer medium tires, so that's going to give us a bit more of an advantage. But let's go check out the rest of the field. Leclerc just overtook Albon, but Albon on the Williams. He has no straight line speed to challenge Leclerc, even with the DRS on. But we see that Hamilton is getting closer to Albon on the start-finish straight, and we have Fernando Alonso overtaking Latifi in the Williams, and that's just an easy move for Fernando Alonso right there. You know, overtaking Williams, they're up there because they're still on the mediums, and they haven't pitted yet, so they're just, you know, that's why they're in the top 10, because most of the field probably ran softs to start the race and then pitted, so that's why we have all the backfield markers in the top 10. Well, let's go check out the other part of the field. Oh, here we go. We have Hamilton and Albon right here, heading, what is this, turn 18 to 19, and Hamilton almost overtook Albon even without the help of DRS. But knowing Hamilton, he would activate his DRS right here in the DRS zone, and then get close, wait until turn 25, activate his DRS, and have an easy overtake, as we are seeing here right now. Hamilton just turns on the DRS, goes on the outside of Albon, and overtakes the Williams, heading into turn 27, and Albon still giving Hamilton a fight for his money. Will Albon have DRS? Yes, he does, but he heads straight to the pits. So that leaves Hamilton with 15 seconds? Oh no, that's just 5 seconds of fresh air, because we see Sergio Perez and the rest of the field that hasn't pitted at all go into their soft tires and hopefully catch up to the field. So Hamilton having 4 seconds of fresh air. But let's go look at the top 3, because we have Sainz ourselves and Verstappen duking it out for first position. This is a really close race right here. This is what we dream of having, like, races we want over the series. And Leclerc has arrived to join the battle, but we were able to somewhat still eke out the Red Bull just by a tiny bit, because we do have DRS because of Sainz's Ferrari. So that is giving us the edge on the Red Bull that's right behind us. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they overtake soon enough, because look, we don't have the, we kind of have the pace a bit, but not the outright pace and speed of the front runners, in terms of in the constructors. So right now we're literally just using Sainz as a DRS a DRS horse that will carry our, Sainz went with the hards, and we overtake from the outside and take the inside line heading to turn 2. Oh my god. And what happened to Sainz? Sainz kind of just waved us by. Like, he took the inside line, basically compromised this line, lets us through basically unopposed. Is Sainz doing us a favor? Because, like, look, Sainz is basically a second behind us at this point. Is he doing us a favor? Holding up Verstappen and Leclerc? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, but look, we already have a 1.6 second gap between ourselves and Sainz. Like, hey, look, thank you for letting me through. But, like, bro, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, like, look, Sainz on a hard tire is still keeping back the Red Bull on a soft, not on a soft, on a medium set of tires. This was I never expected. Oh, we have Leclerc kind of diving in on Sainz at the exit of turn 27. But Sainz still giving Leclerc a fight going down the start-finish straight, heading to turn 1. But, oh, that was a good move from... Oh, no! That was a good move from Verstappen, and Sainz having more pace than Leclerc on a set of hard tires. Literally splits the Red Bull and Leclerc, turning into turn 2. What is going on? Sainz has a better setup than Verstappen and Leclerc, even though he's on the harder set of tires. If he wasn't on the hards, I feel like we would still be behind Sainz at this point in the race, or Sainz would have left us alone to fend for Verstappen and Leclerc. That's going to be behind us, and we would have been screwed and out of the podium. But hey, Sainz did us a big favor, letting us through, giving us a gap, and fighting the hell out of Verstappen and Leclerc. Like, we have no reason be leading this race at all, but for some reason we actually are, and I'm just baffled as we watch this 3 squabble for position heading into turn 27, and Sainz going out wide. Sainz has been making mistakes. This is a second big mistake. He lets Verstappen through and Leclerc through as well with that big understeer, or maybe his tires locked up as well. But jeez, this is insane. It's been an insane drive for Sainz, but Sainz really just made 2 crucial mistakes. One was, for some reason, letting us by in turn 1, compromising his line, trying to take the inside line and brake. And then 2, he went wide into turn 27 and letting Verstappen and Leclerc through, which is not a good sign because he literally is now out of a podium position. You know, he was running second and basically would have had more points for him and Ferrari compared to now, where it's like Ferrari 3-4 instead of a Ferrari 2-4, which was how it was earlier. So now we have a 2.5 second gap between ourselves and Verstappen. Verstappen and Leclerc aren't even fighting. I mean, yeah, they're racing, but it's like Leclerc's not kind of putting moves, which is allowing them to catch. Because look at our lead. Our lead is basically gone. The fact that Sainz is not in front, and we have Leclerc trying to overtake on the outside, but Verstappen was able to hold him off. Wait, Verstappen has DRS? Oh, Leclerc was probably ahead of Verstappen in the DRS detection zone. And then he didn't have a good exit in turn 27. Verstappen keeping the lead and then having DRS. Oh, that is just a horrible combination right there. But here we are on the last lap. We still see these 3 kind of duking it out. But I think this might be how the cookie crumbles for Ferrari. Sainz making a big mistake, 2 big mistakes, falling out of podium position, and giving Red Bull a bit of an upper hand in terms of points, because yes, they have a 3-4, but they could have had a higher points finish if they actually kind of, you know, if Sainz didn't make those two mistakes. Well, here we are heading into turns 22 and 23, nearing the end of the race. We are leading by 1.2 seconds, but we eked out a big enough of a gap when Sainz was still leading and kind of holding back Verstappen and Leclerc to allow us to have a comfortable lead as we head to the finish line. And we get P1. We won the Jeddah Grand Prix, followed by Verstappen, Leclerc, and Sainz. Oh my God! We have to thank Sainz.
And that brings the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix to a close then, as we reflect on the team's impressive performance today. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, this was won through an abundance of speed and skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath, we saw it all today. And it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race to satisfy the purists today, I think.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
There, we have to thank Sainz for giving us the opportunity to get this race win, because we wouldn't be winning this Grand Prix if it wasn't for Sainz trying to defend the inside line, maybe locking up a bit, allowing us to get through, and then him holding back Verstappen and Leclerc. That is just insane of a moment.
Also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make
well, that is the end of the second episode of our MyTeam series. I do apologize for the very late upload of this video. I got COVID, as hopefully it's not that obvious with the recording, but yeah, hopefully after this I'll be able to send out more consistent videos of this F1 MyTeam series. I appreciate you guys watching the video, and until the next time.